All right, we're going to get into buying Bitcoin or, cryptos in general on Coinbase Pro. Um, and let's get right into this. All right, a little bit about me. I am the owner of Crypto Cyber Cafe, a small grassroots organization, website, online presence where we mostly focus on the sale of crypto hardware wallets, various crypto-centric devices like that. I've been researching crypto since 2016, and the rest is history. As far as my everyday outside life, I'll call it, I've been 20 plus years in IT industries. I'm a solutions architect. And that gives you a little bit of background, at least from a high level of me, what I bring to the table. Now, the agenda would be, we want to go over Coinbase Pro accounts and Coinbase really, and executing a market order, executing a limit order, and set up scaling in for dollar cost averaging. Hopefully by the time this is over, all of these things makes a lot of sense to us. All right, Coinbase Pro. So, basically you have Coinbase and you have Coinbase Pro, and it's the same company. It's just two different platforms. And, they're both in the Android and the Apple store. There's two separate websites for the two, Coinbase.com versus pro.coinbase.com. And you use the same account credentials to get into both. So, and a bonus is if you already have coins on Coinbase, then you can transfer those to Coinbase Pro for free. Now let's get into the market order. A market order is a buy or a sell order to be executed immediately at the current market prices. As long as there are willing sellers and buyers, market orders are filled. Market orders are used when certainty of execution is a priority over the price of execution. And a market order is the simplest of the order types. That's taken from Wikipedia. So as you can see, the pros and cons here, it guarantees you that it will be filled immediately, but it cannot guarantee the price. And it typically costs more. So let's flip over to Coinbase Pro now. And let's go through that. So you see here, I'm in Coinbase Pro. Very, very drastically different from Coinbase. So you see Coinbase is just user friendly. They really have those people who are just coming into the crypto industry, and they're trying to get their feet wet. They typically will jump on Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin or Litecoin, XRP, right? You have these top coins here. And, but what I want to distinguish today is that the fact that when you buy anything in Coinbase, you're always getting it as a market order. So you don't guarantee how much you're getting for the price that you're paying. So as you can see in the market, as the definition explained, when you do a market order, so I'm gonna do a buy here. I got about $40 something here that I can spend on Bitcoin. So I'm gonna put in $10 here for this market order. So you see it's on market. This is limit over here, but I want a market order. Now, you can see the fee. It's going to charge me 5 cents. And it's going to give me about 92728 Bitcoin for that $10. I don't get to say how much I want for $10. That's the distinguishing difference. And with this market order, I just say $10 and it tells me how much I can get. But between the time that it told me this and I hit the buy button, it could actually change on me. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to hit buy. It says success. It came in over here. You can see that it got filled immediately. And it went through for the price that it said, but I think it actually changed. I think when we first saw it, it said 92728. I think it changed a little bit there. But that's the thing with a market order. It will go through immediately, guarantees it'll get filled. You just can't guarantee the price and how much you're getting for that price. So now, hope that makes sense. And don't be intimidated by all the stuff that's going on here in Coinbase Pro. The idea with this session and with these series of videos that I'm going to start here is to get us familiar and comfortable with navigating, doing a trade on Coinbase. Much like when you first learned how to drive a car, you didn't worry about how the engine worked and how the wheels worked. You just focused on driving the car and not how the car actually works. So that's the same approach I want you to take to this. Let's focus on how we navigate this and not how every little piece works at the moment. All right, so let's go back to the presentation now. Bum, 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 bum. So I can get it rolling. Lost my spot, it looks like. So now let's talk about a limit order, right? So the limit order says it's an order to buy a security at no more than a specific price. In other words, there's a limit on the price that I want. And or to sell a security at no less than a specific price, called or better for either direction. So when it says or better, that means the price that I signify or better, depending on if it's a buy or a sell, right? So obviously you always want to sell high, so or better would be a higher price. And obviously you always want to buy low, so or better would signify a lower price. This gives the trader, the customer, control over the price at which the trade is executed. However, the order may never be executed or filled, right? So if you look at the pros and cons here, it says no guarantee it will be filled, just like the definition. And this is from Wikipedia, by the way. But you do guarantee the price. It typically costs less to do this type, and it can be used for scaling into position. Okay, so let's go back over to Coinbase Pro and let's do a limit order so we can see the difference. Since we already did a market order and we saw that, now we can do a limit order. Okay. Now check this out here. So got about 20 something, what's that, 30 something dollars I can that I can do me a limit order. So I'm gonna do $10 again so we can compare apples and apples. But now when I do this limit, I want to buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. I'm under buy, limit, and now I go to $10 down here, right? Notice this time it didn't tell me how much, So now that I put the $10 in there, and I saw last time I got .0009272.7. This time I want to get .001 for $10 because I'm dictating how much I want to pay and how much I want to get for that price. Okay. I'm saying, give me this much for $10 this time. And it's a limit order, right? So I can do that. So I'm gonna place it. So now, see, can we find it here? So even though I did that, it went through. How about that? Right? Unless I'm tripping. Nope, I'm tripping. Never mind, scratch that. Here it is right here. This fourth line down. I thought it went through. I was confusing it with the other one for some reason. But you can see I paid $10 here. The order is still open. It's waiting to meet the condition that I stipulated. So this is good. So now you can see a contrast. The first one that I just did earlier, the market order, it went through immediately. It determined what I was getting for that $10 at the market price. Now that I dictated it, it has to wait for that condition to be met before it gets filled. So it'll just sit there in Coinbase until the condition is met, or just never get filled, which I'm okay with that. I can walk away now. I can sleep good because I know if the order goes through, I got it at the price I wanted it. Everything else are other open orders over here that I have. And these right here are orders that were already filled. So, and this is the trade history over here at the right. So typically when you go through this and you're trying to learn it, you just, break it down in parts. Don't try to digest all of this. And, it can be overwhelming. I understand that. But don't worry about all the moving pieces at this juncture, But I do want to talk about the candles here because this can be pretty important when you're trying to stipulate the price that you want something and you're trying to understand which way the market is moving. Well, so I do want to go over some basics, at least how I understand it. And, I'm not a professional, so, definitely feel free to chime in and correct me if I get something wrong technically. But what I do know is that the color indicates which way it's moving. So if you see a green candlestick, that means it moved from the bottom to the top going up. And the bottom dictates the start of the price and the top indicates the end of the price. And since this is a 6-hour candle, that represents a 6-hour move, right? From the beginning to the end. And the red is the opposite. This price went from top to bottom. So the start starts at the top and it ends at the bottom because it's red. So within that window, the price just moved that much and it went down. So that's good, right? It's good to understand that so that when you're trying to figure out, where to come in at, you can kind of get a feel. You have a feel of how that's red, at least the minimum. And that's pretty much, that's your limit orders. I know in the agenda, I also expressed how to scale in. So you just take this approach with the limit orders. And what I can do now, if I have, like here, I have another $30 that I can keep scaling in. And what I would do is I would keep creating multiple orders at lower values that I want to scale in at, if that makes sense. So, I can, say that I want $10 and I want to get, more Bitcoin, because I'm assuming that as I scale in that I'm assuming that the price is going to go lower. So I'm going to keep making extra orders down here, buy orders, until I drain the whole $30, right? So I keep doing it in $10 increments at one price and then another $10 at another price and so on and so forth. And as they get filled, dollar cost averaging into that position. Hope that makes sense. I know I was doing a lot of rambling there, but I wanted to keep the video quick, simple, and sweet, and really focused on the novice or the person that just came into this and they've not been exposed to markets or trading or cryptos. And it's a lot of different subjects that you're learning at the same time. So, I'm just trying to bridge the gap a little bit. And so we're not feeling so uncomfortable and we feel more comfortable with actually doing this stuff and driving and navigating this arena here. All right, I really appreciate everyone's time. That's it.